Hello Google Analytics users, how are you doing today? In this chapter, let's take a look at the attribution modeling reports in Google Analytics 4. So let's get started. Welcome back users, and we have already covered the concepts in the previous chapters. I hope that you have followed it well. Now let's go to the screen and check out what's there in these reports for us. Okay, so back to our screen, and you can see that the reports, explore, and then advertising section, right? So we are inside the advertising section, and inside attribution I have clicked on model comparison. Okay, and here we have this default channel grouping where we can see that the different kind of channels are placed right over here. You can also change it to go by source or medium, source, medium, and so on, right? All the options that you are already aware of. So let's go ahead with the default channel grouping. And then we have got two different columns, okay? And here you get to select those attribution models, okay? Last click, first click, remember those? Position based, linear is disabled because we have selected linear over here. And then time decay, and last click is again the same last click one, okay? So what you are doing over here is you are comparing two kinds of model in these two columns, okay? Here you can select different kinds of model, like it's selected as linear over here, and in this we have selected last click. And now you can see if I were to give credit based on last click, how would the revenue numbers look like? Remember the example, right? It's exactly the same. Over there it was $4 and 4 users. Here there are so many users and so many dollars, right? But essentially the core of it is same. Okay, so revenue is given here, and if you are selecting the linear model, then you get to see the revenue over here. See this organic search. If we check by the last click model, we attribute about $70,000 or roughly $71,000 to organic search, while if we are to go by a linear model, organic search would get about $68,000 or so. Okay, very close to each other, but still in last click organic search is doing better, which means what? Which means that organic search is responsible for those last mile conversions, right? Okay, so I changed last mile delivery to last mile conversions. Great. Okay, but you get the idea, right? Similarly, if we check direct, or let's check referral gets about $54,000 in attribution if you go by last click, while it gets around 56,000 if you go by linear model, which means that referral is not always in the final stages of conversion. It's somewhere in between, maybe, okay, in the entire channel. So you get the idea, right? We also have got paid. I think it's not showing any data over here in revenues. Something may be wrong, or maybe there is no revenue from here, which looks unlikely actually, but either way. Email is also there. So email has got two attributions, and then you also have this conversion column over here. Necessarily not purchase conversions, right? There are 4 conversions that has been selected over here based on what has been configured as conversions in this website. Okay, so you have got these 4 conversions. You can, if you want, you can just take purchase and go about doing your calculation. Okay, even this is possible. Let's keep all the 4 selected so that we have more data. So that's what you get over here. You can do your comparisons. You can make sense of which model makes more intuitive fit for your business by looking at this data. Okay, and then you have got this last column where you see conversions and revenue, and this shows the percentage change. Okay, which means that if I were to go by this model and not this model, how much percentage change in the different parameters would come. Okay, for example, if I went by this model, linear, and not the last click model, then for direct we would see about or for organic, I think, yeah, we would see about minus 3.49% change in revenue, right? That's what is shown over here. And conversion also changes just by a little, right? So you get the idea. So that's what this table shows. Now, if you are a company with multiple marketing channels and all of them working together in a very omni-channel centric way to get users to your website and make purchases, then this kind of model becomes really important for you, right? Because you have to invest marketing dollars in your channels to get all these revenue that you are getting, right? And you have to have a very accurate idea of which channel gets the most credit, and therefore I would want to invest more in that channel, right? So that kind of decision making is only possible when you have this data with you. Okay, so just remember that. You also have a option of conversion paths over here. Now this is also very interesting because here you have got this option of conversions by default channel grouping. You can again change it, and then using which different option of attribution modeling we want to use, right? Based on that, you get this table. So if you have taken a last click, obviously all the last clicks get aligned over here, and we are not giving credit to mid touch points or early touch points at all, right? So last click, you see that that's the late touch points. You get organic search as the winner over here, direct just below that, referral, and so on, right? So you get the idea how it's happening. And remember that this is not just purchase, all the 4 are selected. Maybe you just want to see the purchase, and you have also got the option to do that over here. Okay, and in this table you see that the exact path that a user took for conversion. Okay, which means that these 24,922 conversions that happened over here all happened by one organic search visit. Okay, in this case, the case number 5, 1059 conversions that happened on the website happened, and then obviously these conversions were preceded by different visits to the website. So there were 3 referral visits by these users which concluded in these 1059 conversions. Okay, and if I increase this, let's make it 250, you will see multiple combinations. Okay, yeah, see, check this out. 60 such conversions happened via this kind of complicated mechanism, right? 7 referral emails into 3, and this is 0%. It's not exactly 0%, maybe 0.1 or 0.2, so it rounds off over here. Okay, here if you see, again, 3 organic searches and then referral, and another organic search and then referral, right? 2 referrals. So the path can be this complicated, it can be even more complicated. See, 13 organic searches, right? So there's so many ways possible in today's digital marketing world for users to arrive at a website, play around, come back over and over and over before they're ready to make a commitment with your website, right? So this is something that you have to remember in the world of digital marketing, especially when the product is very high value. People do not just go ahead and buy the product, right? They actually do a lot of analysis, a lot of research. They have to make their own mind up what to do, right? And all these things are succeeded by a purchase. So it's not that simple anymore, right? And you see what's happening over here. It looks like a complete mess, right? But yeah, that's life. That's the truth. So just remember that. So by looking at this report, you can make sense of what kind of paths are working the best for your website. Okay, and is there any path that you want to work but it's not working? Okay, even that can be figured out, and based on that you can take multiple marketing decisions. Okay, so that more or less is all about the attribution modeling reports. Okay, I hope that this makes sense to you, and you can go ahead and do different kinds of options. Open this, go by source, check just for, let's say, check out how many users have done checkout and what kind of path they have followed. All these things you can just play around in these reports and figure out yourself. Okay, so with that, I'll close this chapter and I'll meet you in the next chapter. Thank you.